sitting down with Wanda and Josh, and we were talking about your purchase of
Yes.
a condo. And one of the reasons that some people buy these is just for personal reasons, but my understanding is you bought it for a little bit of personal, family, and then also for an investment. So you are renting your unit.
We are renting it, yes.
Tell me how that's working out.
We are renting it through Airbnb and VRBO. We decided to go with that versus like a rental company or a real estate company because of the flexibility that it provides. With Airbnb and VRBO, you're not held to any kind of standard. If you want to block off a month in the middle of prime time, you can, or if you want to keep it open, you can for rentals. And
They're way more flexible than some of the companies that we talked to, and so we decided that was what was for us. And honestly, Josh does most of that. He managed putting it on their websites and all that, and it wasn't that hard. He walked right through it, got it all on there, and like you said, if we decide we want a week in prime time or 2 weeks or whatever, we can have it. There's no restrictions. Some of the ones we talked to said you could only have it 2 weeks through the summer through prime time. So it's been very good for us. The whole summer's all rented way early, and actually our first rental was a month-long rental in February. We already had some inquiries into next year, and the fall's renting up now as well. So we're very happy with the rental pattern that we've had this year. We had hoped to just rent enough to pay the expenses, and it's far exceeded that.
Really?
Yes, it has.
That's just wonderful.
Yes.
Well, then you told me this was a gym that you got, so you did a little work on it since then. So
Yes.
what else did you do to it? What you purchased?
It had white carpet in it.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And we quickly learned that wasn't going to work for us. So we did have the carpet taken up, and it was in the living room and both bedrooms. And we had that taken up and put down some laminate floors.
Okay.
And we did a little bit of adaptation for handicap accessibility in the 2 bathrooms, like installing grab bars and things like that. And we've done just some general maintenance. I think, have we done anything else really big?
We took down the wallpaper in the bathroom. There was some really outdated wallpaper in there.
Yeah.
It was a little dated, and we took that down, painted. We installed new toilets and things like that while we were doing all that. So
I bet your kitchen was in good shape.
it was in really good shape. It's still got some wallpaper in it, but honestly, it's not as dated as the other was. It blends with the decor in the living room really well, so we've left it alone. Mainly the other things we've done is just accent things. But honestly, it had a lot of nice accent pieces in there already that were left.
Well, probably the most important question is you got a great view.
Oh, we have 3 balconies.
Oh boy.
2 of them are private balconies off of the 2 bedrooms. And then there's a balcony in the center that you can access from the queen bedroom and also from the living area. And it's a larger balcony. We did add some tall Adirondack chairs, and so that helped out with that a lot. But the view is really nice. We've got an eastern view, so we can see sunrise.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah.
And the thing I love about her that sets it aside, in my opinion, from most condos in Myrtle Beach is that both bedrooms have a great view and balcony access.
Yeah.
Where when we used to vacation here at Myrtle and just rent different condos up and down the strip, it was like the master bedroom was ocean front and had a good view, but in the other bedrooms it was like you were back in the dark somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was a really good selling point for us.
Yeah, the balconies made the big difference. It's kind of like icing on the cake.
Yeah, I can understand. How did you handle the cleaning of the unit? Because you worry about somebody cleaning that unit.
We were very fortunate that, well, the first time we found somebody pretty quickly, and it ended up not being as good as we had hoped for, but we got through a referral from somebody in our building, another lady, and she has her own cleaning service. She's small, she's just 2 or 3 people, but she's awesome. So we got really, really fortunate with that. We are understanding that that is quite an issue.
It is.
With people who own condos, is to have a good cleaning service, but thank goodness we have one now.
Yeah, we were actually in rentals here for quite a while. We had about 23 condos
Oh,
that
wow.
we rented, and the biggest problem we had is the cleaning. I went through several cleaning crews.
Yeah,
And you gotta be able to depend on them, because
absolutely.
on a Saturday, you may have somebody leaving in at 11 and you may have somebody coming in at 3. So somebody's gotta get in between that time to get that unit clean. And the biggest headache I had was cleaning, you know.
That's been the biggest headache we've had since we moved in. But like I say, when we switched to the lady we have now, that helped to resolve a lot of that. And that was a personal referral from someone in our building.
Great.
She was actually the HOA president, so she
Really?
recommended her,
Oh,
and
okay.
she had used her services. So we were fortunate to get that one.
We appreciate you telling us about your rentals.
Right,
All
yeah.
right. And thank y'all for coming in and talking.
You're so welcome. We're
you.
happy to do it. Thank you. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
2, 1.
Wanda and Josh, nice meeting you. I'm Larry Willis with SCB Troll State. I'm the owner of this company, and it's a pleasure that I have time to sit down with you today and talk about your experience here at the beach. Let me ask you a question. Why did you pick Myrtle Beach to be the place you made your first investment?
I'll answer that one if it's okay. Myrtle Beach was where my parents always brought me to as a child. It's either Myrtle Beach or Cherry Grove or Ocean Drive along in this North Myrtle area. And I grew up loving it, and as an adult, it didn't change. I love this area.
Josh, how do you like it?
I love this area. I love the beach. I grew up coming to the beach, but on the North Carolina and South Carolina beaches, and just really love Myrtle Beach.
That's good. Well, tell me, what was it you were looking for when you decided to buy something here at the beach?
Okay, it was our first experience doing anything like this, and we started off just talking about it as a hypothetical, and all of a sudden it became real. And we were looking for either a 2 or 3 bedroom condo, but we loved being near the ocean. We loved a balcony where you could go out and see and hear the ocean, and that was basically our search criteria. We loved the northern side of Myrtle or the North Myrtle area best. So that's what we were looking for.
Yeah, we find it more family oriented when you're in the area you're talking about, which is, you know, one of my favorite areas as well. You know, I had the same experience. When I was a kid, I grew up in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is close to the beach, and I remember coming to the beach, and there was houses at that time on the ocean.
Right.
And we'd rent a house and stay there. The pavilion was still here back then. You
I
know.
remember that as well.
Yeah. Well, did you get what you were looking for?
We did. We were very fortunate to find the unit that we found. We were almost ready to settle for one in a different building. It was a little out of our price range, but it was the area we loved. And this one came on the market, and we couldn't get down here to see it, but Taylor helped us by doing a FaceTime with us. And so we ended up putting a deposit down on it without ever seeing it.
Really?
Yes,
Is
we
that
did.
right? Well,
And it was because he showed it to us via FaceTime.
well, tell me about your experience dealing with Taylor. How did he take care of your needs?
You wanna answer that?
Yes, I can answer that. He was always available, always very attentive and receptive to our needs and what we needed. One big thing for me was because I have cerebral palsy, I wanted handicap beach access, and that was kind of a make or break for me. And he was always good for that. He would always check it out, or there were actually a couple of properties that we saw online that we thought was nice, but we couldn't tell if it had an elevator or not. And so I would text him, and he would say, "I'll run over there and check. That way, when y'all are down here, we can make the most of our time." So that was a really big thing for me.
Yeah, that's
Our
good.
needs are a little different than most because of Josh's physical limitations, but, you know, we found what we needed where we are now, and like I said, a large part of that was because Taylor helped us with the preliminaries, so we didn't waste our time while we were down here.
Well, I bet it was a challenge, Josh, since you got a master's in accounting. I'm sure that you challenged Taylor every way you could.
I kept him on his toes.
Yeah, that's good. That's excellent. And he evidently you almost been pretty happy with him then.
We were. Actually, how we had our first contact with him, I was just surfing some websites looking for properties that were available. And I was on your website, and Taylor reached out to me. And later on, there was someone reached out from another website, but we'd already talked to Taylor, and we went with him, and we were very happy we did.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, now you've been there for a little while. How do you feel? Was it a good purchase?
It was a good purchase for us. We've part of the reason we've learned that our property has now increased in value, and we've had some minor renovation things that we did, a lot for preference, but we're very happy with it. We were told at the time that it was the nicest unit in the whole building. And I think based on some other people who have rented in different units, that's probably true. So the lady that we purchased it from, she had taken very good care of the unit, so we've been very happy with it.
That's wonderful.
In Taylor's words, he told us multiple times we found the gym.
Yeah,
We did.
down the gym. Well, you know, just like we talked earlier, you know, it's a purchase like this. There's only a couple things as big as that. One is getting married, the other is getting a divorce. And so when you purchase something of this magnitude,
Yeah,
it's one of the most important things that you have in your life is to
Exactly.
do that.
exactly.
And Josh, did you kind of push your mother to do this?
No, it was a joint effort between me and my nana. She wanted it and I wanted it too, so we equally wanted it.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful.
Josh lives with me now,
Uh-huh.
and we are so compatible in our everyday life, plus our goals and our things that we like. We mesh very well on that. So it was easy for the two of us to make the decision because we just think alike.
That's wonderful. That is just wonderful.
Great
Yeah.
mind,
And
thank
it
God.
sounds like y'all have a good time when doing it together too.
We do.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed this little venture, and we do rent it some, but we also have gotten to enjoy it some too. So
That's wonderful.
we're happy
That's
about
what
that.
it's all about. You know,
That is.
I can tell you that what got me to the beach, I was in the corporate world for many years, and when I was living in Chicago, I bought a condo down here. I didn't think of it as an investment. I paid $88,900 for it.
Yeah.
I sold it in 2016 or 17, I think it was. I sold it for $285,000.
Wow.
Well, it wasn't a bad investment, you know.
Right.
And I got to use it all those years, you know, and I'll tell you something, I've never looked back, you know, and so when my wife, I was in the corporate world and then living in Oklahoma, and then I came home one day and my wife said, "What's wrong?" I says, "I'm just kind of burned out." And she said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Let's go to the beach." So we headed across the country, came to the beach, and we've never looked back. It's just a wonderful place to live.
Yeah.
Low cost of living. The taxes are really not that bad, especially when it's your primary residence.
Right.
And I understand you now have your real estate license
Yes, sir, in North
in
Carolina.
North Carolina. Well, that's good. Are you doing anything with it?
Not currently right now, but it's on the bucket list of things to work on.
Josh works full-time for our company. We have a management company
Oh, really?
where we manage some nonprofit associations. So he's not just doing nothing, he's working for us too.
Yeah.
And then he does the real estate thing in his spare time.
Well, that's wonderful. Just make sure you hang your license somewhere so that you can get a referral at least out of everything. you know?
Right.
Oh, I agree.
Well, hey, I just really nice meeting both of you and getting to talk to you.
It's
Thank
nice
you
to
all
meet you as
so much.
well. We've enjoyed it very much.
Good.